Hi, I'm Tanya from Claude Business Services and Tanya's Bookkeepers Bootcamp, where I help accounting pros build confidence and work more efficiently. Welcome to AI in Action. Each week I'm sharing real use cases, what's actually working, what's not, and how to make AI work for you in your practice, not against you. Because at the end of the day, AI should amplify what we do, not replace us. So this week we're diving into some changes that Intuit or QuickBooks Online has made on the accountant side of things, and how that and Claude have just made my life a little easier. So I've had to take screenshots of all of this just simply to make sure that all client identifying information is blurred out. So what we've got here is, first thing I did, I logged into our new Intuit Accountant Suite, and I went to the Insights overview of the bookkeeping data. So I wanted last year, all clients. Then I went into Customize, then the customization list, and I'll make this a little bigger here and scroll down. First thing I did is I made it compact. Then I clicked, obviously I want to see the client, maybe you want to see the revenue, the gross profit, but total number of transactions was the most important thing to me because we price based on volume and complexity. So I've got that. Then I went in and I ran it, and here's the view that I got. So average head count, I didn't know what that was. Turns out that's for payroll. So I've got the number of transactions and the client, all of that in one. I didn't have to log into each client individually to get that, which was very cool. So that was quite awesome that I was able to get that. From that, I then pulled it out, and here's what pulled out. I'm looking going, okay, I really don't need all of this information to help to reprice, but it's all good. And again, you can see the previous year, previous period, current period for all of these. Then I went into my timesheets and I pulled the total number of hours, and I just simply grabbed them, threw them in here, and we were done. Then I uploaded to both Claude and Chat. ChatGPT gave me this as the output. My concern on this is I asked it, I'm like, hey, look at this, $14,000 for just a compliance, $19,000. Are you sure this makes sense? Because for a monthly rate, that is pretty high. It said, oh, no, and we argued back and forth for about 5 minutes before I finally convinced it was right. These transactions and the current hours were based on a year, and it based all those, even though it said it based it on a month, it still mucked up. So it went back, it was going to completely restart, and it just did nothing for 15 minutes. And I said, hey, you still on that? You rebuilt it? Oh, yep, I've rebuilt it. I've done all of this stuff for you. He said, great. Can you give it to me to download? And it said, oh, sorry, can't do that. So let me show you this here. This was well over an hour ago. So it said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. So I said, okay, you're going to review all clients to make sure there's a monthly price you have in each of the columns. You know, walk through it. You're right to question it. I'm being very direct here. Some of this, that's on me. So I had to figure that out for my own. So it says, even though I intended to do this, what I actually did was this. So this is why I now use Claude for analyzing. I use Chat for because it knows me better for conversation and to bounce ideas back and forth, whereas Claude is definitely the analytical one, and you'll see the difference. So here's where it came up. Oh, sanity check, you already felt this, but I asked it to do the sanity check. So here it says I'm going to do this fix. What you should see, here's the bottom line. Give me a few minutes. So 15 minutes later, is it rebuilt? Yes, it's rebuilt. Great. I don't see it. There's no download here. So it's telling me all this stuff, and I'm like, great. Can you please provide it for me to re-download? Oh, I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to stop you from using that last file. There was only the original file. There is nothing on here. So right now the issue is, and it's going to rebuild. It's going to do this and not patch it. And it went through and give me time to build it properly. This was well over an hour ago, and there's nothing. It just stopped. So I wanted to show that, just to show it's one of the reasons I still do not like ChatGPT for any type of analysis. Then we moved over to Claude. So I got rid of all the pricing here, re-uploaded this with the transactions. I took out the head count, transactions and hours, and uploaded it. And I told Claude to go through, here's my full Claude discussion. I uploaded it. There's that. We need to reprice them for 2026. Here's all of the assumptions that it pulled from the date, because basically what I want is I want to come up with a market rate, find out where we sit for being Belleville, which is outside of Toronto, where we sit on that, because most of our clients are local here, and I want at least 40%, 30% covered in there for my expenses, not my cost of goods, just our operating expenses. I'm adding on the cost of goods after, which is the software. So we have this, and then I want 40% profit margin. So it ran this. It says, okay, yep, we're looking at these. Let's take a look at the math. It said, ooh, something's off, which is actually really cool that it saw something was off. So it went through. It says, okay, now they look more sensible after I fixed it. Let's go through. And then I said, okay, run a quick sanity check against Ontario market rates for each plan. So I had uploaded the plans. Here's the plan. So here's the 4 plans. I just pulled off our website, popped it in the description. So I uploaded those descriptions, did a little bit of conversing back and forth to make sure that we're right, that everything looks right, that it read the plan right, because now it's like, oh, this plan is, slightly wrong or whatnot. I'm like, no, go back and look at what is included and what's not included, because we've changed it. Went through, it says, yep, your plans are pretty much right on. Here's where it says, oh, you're actually below. Actually, it says defensible but conservative at first. And then we went through and said, oh, it's actually below. So just showing a little bit. Yep, okay, here's what's not included. Let's take a look. Let's go through. Again, just a little bit more, just scrolling down so that you can see all of this. So then it started building the skill. It actually did point out that, hey, I've not included the usual 15% administrative, so no problem. We'll go ahead, we'll include that back in. So there's the non-billable time buffer. It started analyzing some of the clients directly. Confirmed this, and then I'm like, oh, just get rid of the head count, because the head count is payroll. That is completely billed separately. So again, we went just a little bit back and forth to make sure it got everything, and then it gave me my pricing model. I said, okay, so here's some more information. Right now, all of our clients have been in compliance. We're changing them all. We've been basically allowing unlimited scope, and we're now changing the scope of the work. So again, a little bit of back and forth, and then it gave me the download. So here's what it gave me. Here's my output, and I love this because it has repriced all clients all at once type of thing. So it gave me my pricing models, the assumption and methodology, then on billable time, my overhead, profit margin. I'm not sure what the stretch profit margin. If we want to do that for new clients or higher complexity, just give a little bit more. Here's the average rates. This is not necessarily what I am paying. These are the average billable rates that we've got for that, because again, I'm going based on market. And then here's, again, the hours logic and whatnot that it's using. Now we popped into the actual pricing. So here's our client, number of transactions, number of actual hours, and here's each of our 4 tiers. And here's the pricing of 40% and a 50%. So new clients should be at the 50%. Existing can be at the 40%. So it's giving me my prices for the tiers for each and every one of them. Here's the hours detail. So again, just a breakdown in it, how many hours each of these plans should take based on that. And so I actually have double checked these, and these prices are good. I'm very comfortable with these prices. So I am now going to get ready to email everybody their new price options. So that is how you can take care of repricing everybody all at once. And then I just have a really good flow. I'm going to be sending them the information, asking them to book a call so that we can talk a little bit more and breaking down the details of the plan. But I want to send them some information to allow them to absorb it and then we'll talk, and then they can absorb some more because we're making some pretty big changes. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I thought that was really cool. So there you have it. If this helped you to start think about how you're using AI and how you could use it differently in your practice, that's exactly the point. This is the kind of work that we're doing inside Tanya's Bookkeepers Bootcamp, helping you build confidence, think strategically, and outside the box. Check us out at bookkeepersbootcamp.ca. In the meantime, share this with someone who's still trying to figure AI out, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss next week's use case. This is Tanya signing off. I'll see you next week.